What does the woman child and the dragon in the book of Revelation 12 mean? These three objects tells the history of the faithful remnant who followed God and His Christ. The birth and ascension of Christ, and the persecution of the church. Revelation 12. Now a great sign appeared in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and on her head a garland of 12 stars. Then being with child, she cried out in labor and in pain to give birth. If you find this description familiar, it is because it appeared in one of Joseph's dreams. The sun, moon, and stars represent the household of Jacob. The sun is Jacob, the moon is Leah, and the 12 stars are the 12 sons of Jacob. But this Israel is not the rebellious one of the first covenant, but the true Israel of God, made up of those who loved God and followed His Christ. They will eventually become the 144,000 when Cornelius enters the kingdom of God. And another sign appeared in heaven, behold, a great, fiery red dragon having 7 heads, and 10 horns, and 7 diadems on his heads. His tail drew 1/3 of the stars of heaven and threw them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was ready to give birth, to devour her child, as soon as it was born. She bore a male child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up to God and His throne. The dragon represents the devil who used King Herod's insecurity to have Messiah killed. In fact, the devil even has access to the temple of God. Remember, he brought Jesus to the highest point on the temple, and he knows the scriptures a little too well. And Jesus will rule all nations with an iron rod for 1,000 years when He returns with His 144,000 and the martyrs to execute justice on the earth. Then the woman fled into the wilderness, where she has a place prepared by God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days, 3.5 years. Continue with part 2.